Okay, I just wanted also then to bung in to the discussion. Not so much how the Tories will be hammered, but what happens after um, July the 4th. Because what we've had, I think, is one opinion poll showing Reform UK actually ahead of the Tories. I think it's only one. I could be wrong. Maybe it's others. But that is amazing, isn't it? My own expectation, and I do underline this point, is that you know what we should have seen, what I expected to see, was Tory support bleed, or at least being boosted as Reform UK support bleeds into the Tory party. But of course, what we've had is Nigel Farage throwing his hat in the ring, and at least so far, that's changed things. So instead of Reform UK bleeding into the Tory party, if anything, we've seen the opposite. And we've seen Tory support bleed into Reform UK. Now, the psephologists tell us, and I suspect they're right, that that doesn't translate into the Tory party being reduced in the House of Commons to the ones and twos. The nature of things will be that votes are concentrated. Reform UK has to overcome, the first past the post system. So the expectation, at least with those in the know, I haven't got the computer model, but their expectation is maybe Nigel Farage wins. In Clacton, which UKIP, remember, actually briefly held. Maybe there will be some others in Reform UK that win. But no, the more serious discussion, the more interesting discussion for me, is precisely who emerges as leader of the Tory party, because there's no way Rishi Sunak will last if the polls are right. He will go, he'll fall on his sword, and then we'll have a leadership contest. Now, that could be interesting because we might see a situation of where Nigel Farage is in Parliament, and we might see a situation. All of this is, what if, what if? I readily recognize it's speculation. Of course it is. But we might see a situation where Priti Patel, a Suella Braverman, a Rees Mogg, either emerges as leader of the Tory party or emerges as the kingmaker when it comes to who's going to be the leader of the Tory party. After all, there is the story, and he's hawked himself around, hasn't he, of Nigel Farage either becoming leader of the Tory party or a leading figure in the Tory party. And I think it's just worth thinking back about the nature of the Tory party itself, because there are those that say the Tory party is finished. I think that's all nonsense. I think it's equal nonsense of saying the Labour Party was dead, after the defeat of Labour, with the leadership of Michael Foot and the longest suicide note in history. A lot of nonsense was written about the death of the Labour Party. I just don't buy it. It's conceivable the Labour Party could die. It's conceivable it's delaborized with the breaking of the trade union. All of that's possible. But I don't see death of the Labour Party, nor do I see the death of the Tory party, but a merger between Nigel Farage's private company called Reform UK and the Tory party is quite conceivable. And if we think about the name of the Conservative Party, worthwhile spelling it out in full. Its official name is the Conservative and Unionist Party. I used to think that the origin of that name was with the Carsonites in the Six Counties, Northern Ireland, the Unionist Party of Ulster. But no, it actually dates back earlier to a split in the Liberal Party in Scotland. This is the origin of the Conservative and Unionist Party. And indeed, if we look back at the history of the Conservative Party, of course, it's been a history of splits and mergers. And it begins, after all, with a split in the Whigs. And a faction of the Whigs go over um, to the Tories. And what we have out of that is the Conservative Party that has brought all, into it all sorts of thises and that's. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm just saying this as a throwaway, that we don't end up sometime this year or sometime soon with a new name, the Conservative and Reform Party. How long that name lasts in terms of your ballot paper, that's a different question. But that really wouldn't surprise me. My basic proposition is, in spite of our expectation, my expectation, I would have thought yours as well, that Keir Starmer will get the call from Chaz on July the 5th, come to Buckingham Palace. Are you in a position, Sir Keir, to form a government? Yes, Your Majesty, I am. Then go. I don't know what they say. Anyway, you get the general idea. I have heard some comments on the left, at least I don't know whether they're still saying it, saying that the Conservatives are going to win. I don't take that seriously. But no, I think that's pretty clear. But my basic proposition is that politics in Britain are going to the right. And you might end up with Jeremy Corbyn in Parliament. You might end up with one or two other independents. You might end up with a big might, George Galloway. I do count him on the left. In Rochdale, this time he will be facing a Labour candidate endorsed by the Labour Party. So it's not a shoe-in. Either way, my basic proposition is that politics in Britain are going to the right. This will be the most right-wing Labour government in terms of its manifesto, I think, in history. And the Tory party is not just about to do what was considered the sensible thing, like a lot of idiots on the left would say it as well. You've got to go to the centre. The centre is moving to the right because the right is moving to the right and the left is also moving to the right. I mean, look at what is sensible now on the left, and it's we must have a network. We must have a popular front. We must get an alliance with the Greens. That's right-wing shit, if you excuse my Anglo-Saxon. And to back up my thesis, I don't think that's just confined to Britain. I think that's something you could say about the United States. I think that neoliberalism clearly has run out of steam, and liberal opinion, of course, preaches, what do they call it, so-called woke politics. But what it does, it actually impoverishes and depowers millions of people. Of course, that doesn't mean that the Conservatives empower people, but if anyone is offering hope, it's the right. And I'm talking about the far right, not Keir Starmer, but people like Nigel Farage. I will stop mass migration. I will give you a sense of community. I will win Britain back for the Britons. I will make Britain fit for the British people. And you know what he means by that. I will make America great again, Donald Trump.